Hey everybody, this is Matt with GameZone. I'm here with Jeremy Gaffney, president of Carbine Studios. Yep, developers of Wildstar. We're here at PAX East where they're showing off tons of new footage. Yesterday you guys had your panel.
Yes, we did.
Congratulations on going gold.
Oh yes, we are stoked.
What does that mean?
So going gold means that we have our discs are officially off. They are printed, but we're an MMO, so we're still doing big updates. One of the things we really want to drive is as much people into the beta as we can, because any info we get helps us. We tune things every month. We've been doing ginormous updates for the last month. We got a patch going up next week with 71 pages of patch notes. Wow. Our last one was a month ago. Was 91 pages of patch notes. So we're doing a lot of stuff in the game, and we need players in there to tell us what the heck to do.
So you mentioned all this beta, preparing the servers for launch. Are you guys taking any precautions outside of the beta to ensure a smoother launch? You know, that's sometimes a problem with MMOs.
Yeah, we try to. One of the difficulties when you do big changes to your game is making sure you're doing smart and stable things so you're not blowing your game up at the same time as you are making it better. And so a lot of what we're focused on right now is making sure that we're stable, that we're doing bug fixes, we're doing all that. But when you crowd in, you know, hundreds of thousands to millions of people, things can go crazy. So we are taking as many precautions as possible. We're losing as much sleep as possible. So a bunch of exhausted and happy developers will certainly be there fixing servers late at night if things do go awry. Yes.
Great, great. So much of your panel yesterday was focused on endgame content. How big of of emphasis is that? I mean, you see with past MMOs, they launch, they have tons of content up front, and then people get burned out late game. What do you guys doing with that?
So we think there's two critical parts. One is leveling. Like if you're not having a good time leveling, if combat sucks or if there's not a good story or zones are boring, you drop out, you quit, doesn't matter how good your end game is. So you gotta nail that. So for us, that's making sure action combat's fun, there's cool stuff to do in the zones, housing's cool, arenas, battlegrounds, dungeons, all that stuff leading up to level, gotta be cool first. But secondly, often you run out of oomph. You're exhausted and tired, and hopefully happy developers at the end are like, don't have the, it takes a lot to do that, and then, hey, let's have a few thousand hours of stuff to do at cap. That is non-trivial. So what we've done is try to make sure that, you know, we've been beta for about a year, and what we try to do is make sure we have solid games for each kind of player. If you're a raider, awesome. We got raids like nothing you ever saw before. Destructible terrain, cool stuff, all that kind of thing going on. The 20-man raids, 40-man raids. You capture those raid bosses, now you can use them in war plots, PvP fortresses. Now that same destructible terrain, all that, well, now you're using it to build giant fortresses, fight fortress against fortress, and capture raid bosses using to fly over and attack your enemies. But for soloers, the key really, the reason we've been training ourselves to do these like frequent large updates is because solo players don't want to play the same stuff. You don't want to sit there and grind rep forever. You don't want to sit there and do your same dailies or weeklies forever. And so we try to tell a really interesting story at the top level and to have 2 full zones worth of like deep content, lots of public events, lots of sort of like both solo gameplay and then gentle group where you can fight near people and get a benefit out of it. And then that leads you into the story instances where we do updates. We're aiming for monthly. We'll see how well we can pull it off. We've done monthly for the last 6 months of our beta, so we're doing good so far. Big old updates to make sure there's new stuff for soloers to do. 65% of people play massively single-player mode in the US and in Europe. They play mostly solo. A weird thing, but you want an audience, you want a group around, you want an interesting environment.
Most MMOs, when they launch, you know, like player housing, for instance, that comes later on, you know. Yep. Raids come later on, but you guys are launching with all of this stuff in there. I mean, how are you guys pulling it off?
Pure insanity. Pure aiming for the moon and shooting for the stars and all that other kind of stuff. The part of it is because we're picky. Now we have a game that felt pretty damn polished 6 months ago, but we wanted it to be better. And we think in the industry today, there's a lot of jaded MMO players out there. They have been sold the moon and they have not gotten it. And so we want to make sure our proof is in our pudding. So it's not like, hey, trust us with housing. Nope, it's in there, it's fun, and it's more extensive than any other housing system out there. And because we did it pre-launch, we can integrate it deeply in the rest of our game. Raids are deeply integrated in the game with war plots, with the other systems. You can only do that if you've really done that in advance and not try to graft that stuff on afterwards. And so for us, it's been a labor of love making sure we do all that. Yeah. And we'll see.
Most MMOs are either free to play or subscription. You guys are offering both. Yeah. What's the idea behind that?
So the thought is this, you know, play how you want to play. That drives paths. Choose your play style. We build the game around you. That drives housing. Hey, customize your area. It drives war plots. Build your own battlefield. And so it's also, hey, how the hell do you want to pay for the game as well as part of that? Some people hate subs. They've been burned by sub games. They don't think the updates come frequently enough to be worth like 15 bucks a month or 10 bucks a month or whatever. Okay, I understand that. Also, there's some players who have lots of time, but they don't have any money, and there's some players who have money, but they don't have any time. And so the goal of cred, that's our system to sort of let you play for free. One player buys a cred, but then they can trade it on the auction house. Another player trades them a bunch of gold pieces they earned inside the game, and then uses the cred for their month of sub. Well, now both players are happy because you got one guy basically paid for another player's subscription in return for gold pieces. The other guy played for free by trading our game for gold pieces, and we're stoked because we just made money off the free-to-play player. And the gold farmers are pissed because they can't sell gold because there's a legit way to trade other players for it. And so everybody's happy except for the gold farming bastards who shouldn't be happy anyway.
I first played this game at PAX Prime 2011, years ago, and I assume the game was in development years before that. What's it like now? You guys are what, a month, 2 months away from launch. What's the feeling going on?
It is a mixture of elation and exhaustion. People are really stoked. It's great seeing people actually respond to the game itself. We try to be a kind of a no hype, no BS company the whole time along, and so what we look for is real people playing the game and getting real feedback out of it. We survey the heck out of everybody in the game. If stuff's fun, we do more of that, and if it sucks, we rip it out. So the more we do that, the more we win, knock on wood. So we'll see. All we gotta do, we gotta build as much hype as possible now as we're leading to launch. We've been quiet, we've been no BS, so now it's time to like get the hype machine rolling.
I mean, looking at the booth from these past couple conventions and stuff, you guys are drawing quite good crowd.
3 years ago, we had like people standing in line like maybe a person, and now we have about a 3-hour wait over there. So the hype has been building, which is nice.
Yes.
It's we do games where they love it. We also do it because we'd like to sell some too. So,
June 3rd, Wildstar, correct? PC.
That's the hope.
Any plans for other platforms? Xbox One, PS4?
No, we've been focused really on PC. Some of the guys have made a Mac version on the weekend for fun in past years, and so maybe at some point we'll do a Mac version. We're not actively sort of planning or promising it. We'll stay off console. I think you really need to design your UI. You're either designing like a 10-foot UI where you're sitting on your couch, you're having a beer and hanging out with your buds, or you're sitting there on your PC intensely playing, and I think it's very hard to mix those two. So we'll probably not try to do a console graphy hybrid thing in the next at least few years.
Okay, great. Well, best of luck heading into launch. Greatly looking forward to it. Thank you so much for your time.
Good question.
Thank you. June 3rd, Wildstar.